Chris, before we get into hockey, are you a Star Wars fan at all?
Never been a Star Wars fan. I think the only line that that funny line, "I am your father" or whatever, that's the only thing I can remember from Star Wars. Luke.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, what was that, Chewbacca? What was that guy? I don't know. There's a few characters, but I don't know. I'm not a Star Wars guy.
That's all right. What you do know is certainly hockey, and each series has had one game played thus far. I know it's early on, but what have you learned from the early action in these series?
I mean, from the East, every one of the teams first time ever had over 100 points. So, other than the way, Carolina had dominated Boston, it's a pick 'em, great games. You watched that Ranger game last night, other than the Colorado game, but just real competitive games. Calgary, I think, come out, played a really solid game under Darryl. He's got them going. Washington, I think, with those five guys, Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, Oshie, Carlson, they're a team you can't never count out. And then Crosby, he does what he does. Looked like Rangers were all over them. And then all of a sudden Crosby makes two great plays to Gensel, and they're in the game, and you saw that double overtime game. So some great hockey.
All right, so beyond of every game matters, what's the difference between regular season games and the postseason, something that the regular average person may not realize?
I mean, you saw the regular season race down till the end, mostly just teams jockeying for home ice position. But, the importance of every game, like you mentioned, and there's something about it, the fans, the energy, the players step up their game. Everybody's sacrificing their bodies, and it's just a different level. It's faster. It's, and it's, again, you don't have to get a second chance in the playoffs. So you got to prepare for every game, and you win the game, you lose the game, you get ready for the next one. But there's definitely something about the energy in playoffs.
We're talking to the great Chris Chelios on the Roman guest line, a first ballot Hall of Famer, three-time Stanley Cup winner, and BetMGM ambassador. Chris, I had the Rangers last night on the money line because I thought they had the advantage in net with Shesterkin, but you mentioned the Pens and how Crosby got them going. They play again tomorrow, and after you play such a draining playoff game where you go to 3 overtimes, what's the key to bouncing back when you absolutely cannot take a night off?
I'll tell you what, when you win that game, you're a lot less tired than you are when you lose it. That's just the way it goes, adrenaline. So, for Pittsburgh, they needed that game, obviously. And you mentioned Shesterkin. This guy's been unbelievable all year. They're going to have a tough time getting to him, but they scored 4 goals. And that's the total amount of goals they had in 4 games against them. So they got that monkey off their back with Malkin scoring that overtime winner. But, they basically almost played, 2 games. So it's not going to pay off in the series or if they go deeper in the playoffs. But that's a pretty tough way to start a playoff series here.
So hockey playoffs are especially fun, and I keep hearing it this year that it seems like anybody's year, that any team really could win it besides maybe the Preds, who looked absolutely terrible last night. So looking across the board and seeing some of these teams who are not favored to win it all, are there any dark horse candidates that you think might make a run in the playoffs this year?
I don't think anybody was picking Washington. They had some injuries all year. Their goaltending is going to be the only issue, but they're a big, solid playoff type team, and they have that experience. I don't know if you'd call Calgary an underdog, but I mean, with their goaltender and the way they played, that's one team I wouldn't be surprised one bit if they end up, in the finals and possibly winning the cup.
We've got the Avs at plus 350, so they are the favorites at BetMGM, and that's not a surprise. But if you're talking about what makes them so very good, besides the fact that they just cruise through the regular season, what in your mind just sets them apart a little bit from the other competitive teams that have a chance to win the cup?
I mean, you learn sometimes from losing, and last year they're still bitter about Vegas. You listen to Landeskog, his interview after the game, and he says all the right things. And they're out to prove something, and I think they've learned from the past. And there's no doubt they've had some injuries too. All your Landeskog was out right up till playoffs. He's out for quite a while. They just weren't healthy all year, and they still managed to have a heck of a year. So they've got it all. And then the goaltending, that was the Kemper. That was a question mark. He's been great since January. So, they're going to be tough.
All right, so looking at the slate today, 4 games on the schedule. Is there a series or a game today that you have circled? We got Bruins, Canes, Lightning, Maple Leafs, Blues, Wild, and Kings, Oilers.
I mean, for me, the most, the way the Maple Leafs came out and just handed it to Tampa, I'm going to watch this game and see if, Tampa has been able to turn it on and off the last couple of years, and let's see how they react. That's a game. They couldn't have played any worse, but, I don't think anybody saw that coming, what Toronto did to the Lightning. So that's a game, whether Toronto feeds off of that or Tampa reacts to it, that's what I'm waiting to see.
We're chatting with 3-time Stanley Cup winner Chris Chelios, Hall of Famer, played 26 years in the NHL and made the playoffs in 24 of those seasons. Chris, what is a Stanley Cup story or maybe your favorite story that you love telling fans?
I mean, the best thing is sharing it with the fans and the parade and, your teammates being able to celebrate the championship. And then the tradition of getting the Stanley Cup and actually having it for a day. I think I got lucky and had it for, 6 days the one year we won it. But that tradition is like no other in any other sport. To bring that Stanley Cup around and have people drinking out of it and see the reaction of people when they see it, that to me, that sticks out the most of the 3 times I won it is bringing that cup around town. And I was fortunate enough, unfortunate that it wasn't with the Blackhawks when I brought it home. But it was still real special to have all the people which I grew up with, my coaches, my friends, to be able to share that time with them.
One final question before we let you go. I'm not a huge tequila guy, but I'm not opposed to it. And I see that you are one of the guys who created this El Bandito tequila. So you got to give me a sell here. I want to sit down. I want to watch some hockey. I want to sip on some good tequila. What's the best way to do that?
Well, perfect time to bring that up right before Cinco de Mayo. But yeah, I've always been a tequila guy. We've come up with this tequila. It's totally additive free. There's no preservatives, nothing in it. It's just pure and clean, and it's priced right. Pretty proud of it. Like I said, I don't know if you can say, there's any such thing as healthy drinking, but this is about as healthy as it gets. And it's become a new thing, the tequila. It's almost like bourbon. I think it's, right there taking over with vodka. And you got to try it. We've come up with a great tequila, and it's available, most liquor stores, Benny's, Jewel, all over the place. So, and if they don't have it, all you got to do is ask. And we've teamed up with Breakthrough Beverage, the Wirtz family's distributorship, and ask for it, and they'll get it. But thank you for bringing that up. It's been a lot of fun. We came up with it, during COVID when we were bored like everybody else, and it's been a lot of fun.
You got seconds in, and I was like, sold. I'm definitely trying that.
All
We
right.
definitely appreciate it. He is a 3-time Stanley Cup winner, a BetMGM ambassador, and of course, a Hall of Famer as well. It is Chris Chelios. Chris, we really appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.